Here are two things Lorenzo Sonego could do to improve his two-handed backhand. Now, this video is courtesy of Court Level Tennis on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to his awesome channel. I've put his link in the description below. Now, when I watch this video, you can tell that Sonego is really struggling with his backhand. And this backhand right here kind of exemplifies the mistakes that he's making. And so to show you the mistakes, let me put him side by side with Novak Djokovic. Now, the first difference I want you to notice is how tight Lorenzo is and how loose and relaxed Novak is. Now, to see this difference, I'm going to let you watch Lorenzo hit 5 backhands in a row, and then I'll have you watch Djokovic hit 5 backhands in a row. Now, the first thing that caught my eye with Sonego's backhand is how tight he must be holding the racket. He must have a death grip on his racket. I want you to be loose. And if I'm talking to you, Lorenzo, be loose with your hands. Don't grip the racket tightly. It's something that you notice with Djokovic. He just doesn't seem to be gripping the racket hard at all. So as the viewer, I want you to pay attention to this in your own backhand. How tight do you feel like you're holding the racket? Be loose, be relaxed, and it can help you to accelerate the racket and hit with speed and spin. The second thing I want you to notice is Lorenzo, when he takes the racket back on this backhand, notice he pauses just for a second. He pauses the racket. Notice this. And go back if you want and watch those 5 backhands in a row. And just notice right there how there's a slight pause. That means he has to stop the racket and there's tension in the arms. And then he has to accelerate the racket again. Where with Djokovic, he has a continuous circular motion. His racket, as he's taking it back, it doesn't stop, it just turns the corner. So his racket goes like this, then it goes down, then it goes to the ball. Watch how he follows that circular, racket path. With Lorenzo, he takes the racket to here, and then his racket basically just goes, oops, sorry, wrong tool. There you go. His racket goes down and then like right to the ball. Watch this. It just goes down and right to the ball. So there isn't this circular movement that you'll see with Djokovic. He just cuts it straight down and then to the ball, super tight, where, again, Djokovic has that circular motion. The last thing, and Lorenzo kind of has that Berrettini look, where the racket is to the outside of the hand, where with Djokovic, let me get like right to here, you can see the racket is very much above his hand. If the racket was a mirror, he'd be reflecting the people's, the people to his left, the crowd to his left, where Lorenzo is pointing his strings down. This is something, like I said with Berrettini, something that a lot of players are doing to shorten up the swing and trying to copy that lag technique that players are using on the forehand. The problem is it just often doesn't work on the two-handed backhand. So rather than going down tight in that with gripping the racket really tight, try to have the racket, and Lorenzo, I'm talking to you, have the racket straight up and down, super loose and relaxed swing, loose hands, loose grip, and you will feel so much more relaxed. You can tell oftentimes that he feels late when he's hitting this ball. It's just not working for him. The second thing I want you to notice is because Djokovic doesn't pause the racket and he just has a smooth, continuous swing, it actually allows him to get lower below the ball and it produces a higher follow through. Watch with Lorenzo. You see it all the time with recreational players, and here with Sonego's backhand, look how low his elbow is compared to Djokovic. In fact, if I just draw the outside of their body and then under their tricep, you can see the difference. So there's a lot more space under Djokovic's right armpit than there is with Sonego. So because Sonego is late and tight, he's kind of pulling across the ball. You can see, by the way, this ball has side spin. Just watch how the ball travels. You can see it actually kick off to the left. See it kick off to the left? The ball's got a lot of side spin, and you can just tell that he's frustrated and he doesn't like the way his backhand is performing. Where with Djokovic, you can tell he's early, he's relaxed, not early like too early, but he's on time and relaxed, ripping this ball cross court, putting Marin Cilic in a little bit of trouble, out into the doubles alley. So big difference between the two. So Sonego, I don't want you to pause the racket to the outside of the hand. Don't have the racket to the outside of the hand and pause the racket. Take the racket back with it straight up and down and have it be continuous. Have it just be continuous and loose, just like Djokovic. I mean, one of the best backhands of all time. And then extend up and out rather than pulling across with that elbow low. You can just tell the difference in their elbow. All right, let me show you what this looks like in front of the camera. Now, to help me demonstrate these techniques, I've got the Topspin Pro here. To get your own for at-home practice, you know what to do. Use my affiliate link in the description below. I'm also going to pin it in the first comment. All right, 2 simple ideas. A loose, relaxed, continuous, and circular backswing, and then an upward lifting follow-through. Let's talk about the backswing first. There are 3 things I want you to avoid that Sonego is actually doing on his backhand. The first is you can tell that he's death gripping the racket. In fact, go back and look at his forearm muscles. You'll see them really popping. You don't want to be gripping the racket so hard that everything's kind of popping out. Be loose and relaxed. When you're tight, it'll make you strong, but it doesn't make you fast. And you want to be loose and allow the relaxation to create racket speed. The second thing is when Sonego turns, he always pauses the racket. When you're pausing the racket, it can make you late. It can also reduce then what? Since you're late, how low below the ball you can get, and then you end up smacking into the back of the ball, getting that side spin that he hit on that backhand that we saw. And the third thing that he does is he throws the racket at first to the outside of his hands. So his racket's kind of in that Berrettini look where many players on the Pro Tour kind of look like they're trying to copy the lag on the forehand, but they're doing it on the backhand. And with the biomechanics of it all, it just doesn't work the same way. When you watch Djokovic, his hands look relaxed, his swing is continuous, and his racket is straight up and down, allowing for the racket to just circle behind the hands and then swing up the back of the ball. So rather than being on the outside tight and pulling across, try being continuous, loose, and very upright with your racket. Vic Braden called this on edge. So instead of being like this, have your racket on edge. Somebody behind you can only see the edge, and you could take a coin and balance it on the top of your racket. So let me hit some backhands. My goal is to keep that ball going. You can see the ball spin. I'm nice and loose with my hands. I'm continuous with my racket. And my racket, when I turn, is straight up and down. Second idea. Vic Braden called this air the armpits. When Djokovic finishes on his backhand, you can see both armpits. His opponent, if you were to film Djokovic hitting backhands from the front, or if you were his opponent, you would be able to see both armpits. When you watch Lorenzo, he'll hit the ball and go across. Now, part of this is just kind of the motion that he's using. He's using that kind of lag, slappy kind of backhand that gets a lot of side spin, right? That pulls across. But what does that end up doing? It means that you're swinging not the direction you want the ball to go, up and out, but you're pulling across. That puts side spin on the ball. In fact, if I swing across as I hit this backhand, you can see there's no top spin because the ball is with a horizontal axis, so it forces the top spin. It forces the correct swing to be used. When Lorenzo was done, there was very little space under his armpit. In fact, let me get this ball here. When Lorenzo finished his backhand, you could put a ball under his armpit and the ball would stay. With Djokovic, there'd be no way, it would just fall out every time. So you want to finish on your backhand so that your opponent can see your armpits. This is called ATA, air the armpits. You got to air out your armpits when you're done. So your hands go up, not across.
That's possible if you're loose and early with your racket, continuous, not wasting time stopping, but if you just keep your racket going, it gives you the time to get below the ball. Then you can go more up as you hit, getting the topspin that you need. You don't get side spin, and then you finish with your armpits exposed. Please go out and film yourself hitting backhands. Check what you just learned in this video. Check to see if it's actually happening with your backhand. If you're looking for people in your local area to play matches against or practice with, or if you want to find a coach who's close to you who can help you with your game, then use my link in the description for Play Your Court. And it's playyourcourt.com/2minutetennis. When you use my link to sign up, you get 50% off. I hope you're going out and filming yourself hitting serves, volleys, overheads, backhands, forehands. I hope you're going out and filming yourself playing matches and reviewing the footage. Right? Don't just watch videos here on YouTube. I hope that you're watching all my videos. That'd be amazing, so thank you. But you've got to also, and I want you to also go out and film yourself and review your own footage. If you do, there's no doubt you're going to gain confidence, win more matches, and play much better tennis. This is Ryan Reedy from 2minutetennis.net. You got this.